Today's podcast is sponsored by the Association of Mature American Citizens, the only conservative alternative to AARP, folks. Go to amac.us/Carter. All right, lots to talk about. Crazy Secretary of State Blinken. I don't even believe a word that he says. It is, I think, absolute insanity when you know the truth about what's going on in the world and then you hear the words coming out of his mouth. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about General, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. Milley Vanilli. No, I'm not going to say it. No, I did say it. I did. Anyways, so General Milley, Mark Milley, as you know, likes to aid and abet the enemy, according to Bob Woodward, who in his book, new book that's coming out, is basically saying that the general warned the Chinese Communist Party of a possible impending nuclear attack by President Donald Trump. This is such BS. I can't even believe I'm saying it. What BS is this? If anything, I think it would be Joe Biden, right, Greg? That would warn China because he's like in their pocket. He's been in their pocket, along with his son, Hunter Biden, for some time now. So it doesn't surprise me. The guy should resign. The general should resign because, one, President Trump, I do not believe for even one iota of a second, would have ever even thought of that, except maybe in a dream, except maybe in one dream or something. But he would have never thought that. It would have never been taken seriously. This is all a bunch of disinformation. We all remember the disinformation campaigns that were going on during President Trump's presidency, and the fact that now we've even proven it because apparently Hunter Biden can do no wrong, and neither can Joe Biden, and neither can the State Department, although they've turned the world upside down in the last 7.5 months. We don't even recognize the planet. Geopolitically and in the United States, everything is upside down. But the most important story of the day that I'm going to be teasing today is that I am actually here at the studio. I'm at Radio America, and down below is my vehicle. Why? Because we are finally moving to Texas. Yes. No, I do not have a private jet. No, I am not taking a train or a plane. I literally have 4 pets, my husband and my daughter, in our SUV downstairs with stuff piled on top, stuff all on the inside, ready to head to the great state of Texas. I'm not even 15 minutes from our house. The cat has already thrown up and taken a dump in the back of the car. So I'm going to document this. We're going to keep it going. We're going to see if me and my family survive this long road trip with the guide dog, the crazy chihuahua, the depressed sheepoo, and obviously my fat cat who obviously has stomach problems. So if we make it and we all survive, then yay, America. I can't wait for this road trip. You'll see me in Tennessee soon, folks. You'll see me in Tennessee. You might see me losing my mind, pulling out my hair, but you'll see me in Tennessee. Please follow and subscribe. Get all the links at saraacarter.com. That is saraacarter.com. And while you are there, I want you to sign up for our email list. You can keep up with all the great things happening in my life, like the road trip. And more importantly, you can keep up with the real news, what's really happening. Not the hashtag fake news coming out of the White House and out of the State Department and from the bureaucrats here in Washington, D.C. Look, I love our capital. I loved Virginia. I'm going to miss it dearly. I really am. But I'm tired of the bureaucracy. I want to get back to roots. I want to talk to just regular folks. And I want to fight. I'm going to fight for my country from ground zero, right? And that's what I plan on doing. And that's why I'm going to the great state of Texas. Listen, I've spent a lot of time talking to you about MyPillow because actually Mike Lindell and I are very good friends. And Mike Lindell has done it again. He's done it again by introducing the new My Slippers. Guys, I love these My Slippers. You will not regret it. My Slippers took 2 years to develop to ensure that they are the highest quality and comfort. I literally wear mine, and you can wear them indoors and outdoors. You don't just have to worry about the inside of the house. And you know me, I'm chasing those crazy animals of mine everywhere. Literally everywhere. So they're designed for all day indoors or outside wear. The My Slippers are made with quality leather suede and the exclusive 3-tier cushioning system. This combines layers of MyPillow Fill. Impact gel and comfort memory foam to absorb impact and relieve pressure. Your feet will never feel the same. You guys, trust me, get this as a gift for December. Buy early. Buy these little things early so that it doesn't hit you. At in December, you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot my aunt. I forgot Uncle Tony. I don't have an Uncle Tony, but if you have one, get him some My Slippers. Please, for a limited time, Mike is offering 50% off. Listen to this. 50% off. You just can't beat that. His new My Slippers. So go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square. Enter the promo code Carter. You got to enter that in there so that Mike can continue to sponsor me. No. Call 1-800-685-7221. While you're there, take advantage of the deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Bed Dream Sheets, the MyPillow Mattress Topper, and MyPillow Towel Sets. I got all of it. You can only save 50%, though, on the My Slippers. These are the new My Slippers with the promo code Carter, C-A-R-T-E-R, or call 1-800-685-7221. Visit mypillow.com today. Wow. This is kind of crazy. So before I take you to the ride from hell, it's only been 15 minutes in my car. And that it really will be. It's just to make you all feel better, right? So imagine now you're just like, okay, we're going to do it. We're moving. My husband retired, and he wants to do different things now with his life. And we're going to go to Texas, and we're just going to do it. And we get everything loaded up in the truck. Well, I didn't, but I helped. I did. I helped a lot of guys load a lot of things in the truck. I didn't even realize how much junk we have in the house until we started opening up drawers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where that went. Oh, wow, look, there's the key to the house that we've been missing for the last 2 years since we moved in. Whatever it is, we were finding things, necklaces, credit cards that we thought we lost, all that stuff, right? We get everything loaded up. And then still, there's so much more because I've got these 4 animals and my daughter, and she almost talked me into taking her 5 fish. We've had those fish now. I can't get rid of fish. Fish stay with me. They never die. It's really weird. You know how people have green thumbs? I have like that kind of ability with animals. Like these fish were supposed to kick the bucket at the age of 3. They're like 5 years old now. They're still swimming around. They're like happy, and so we gave them to the school. We gave the fish to the school. So anyways, I'm sitting there thinking about my car and what's happening inside this little universe of ours with cats and dogs and my wonderful husband who, by the way, is like, I don't even know how he puts up with us. I'm telling you. I was telling him if we get pulled over, we will not get a ticket because they will just look at my husband and feel so sorry for him. They'll look around the car and see all these animals and he'll be like, brother, that's okay. Head on out. You've paid the price. I just wish I could take Secretary of State Blinken, General Milley, John Kirby from the Pentagon. I used to know him. Very nice guy when he's not being political and lying through his teeth, but a very nice guy nonetheless. Put them all in the car and let them drive the animals all the way to Texas because they actually deserve it. I want you to listen to this. This is Mitt Romney getting Secretary of State Blinken to admit there are still thousands, which I know of personally because I'm actually working with some folks to get some of these people out of Afghanistan. There are still thousands of green card holders stuck in Afghanistan. Listen to this.
How many of them approximately, you said we don't know the exact number, but how many legal permanent residents are we convinced are still in Afghanistan?
We don't have an exact number, but it's in the
thousands. But a round number?
In the thousands.
Pardon?
In the thousands.
In the thousands.
In the thousands. I want you to think about that. For a minute I was asking my husband, this was before I realized how bad off Panjshir was, but I had been invited to go to Panjshir and do some interviews there and talk to some of the mujahideen, some of the fighters, the resistance fighters against the Taliban. And I was thinking to myself, this administration doesn't even care about American citizens. They'd probably be grateful if I went into Panjshir. They would probably be happy if I disappeared somewhere in Panjshir. But it would be a nightmare, because if anything happened to me in Panjshir, I for sure know, nope, and I wouldn't want to, actually. I wouldn't want to put any American lives in danger. But I for sure know that this government, my government, would do nothing for me. They abandoned Americans. They abandoned green card holders. They abandoned people with visas. I was literally on the phone with a woman, a U.S. citizen, who was basically told to leave her husband there if she wanted to get on a plane because he did not have a U.S. passport. I could not believe what I had to tell her. It broke my heart. And like I've said before, I bring her up quite frequently. The reason I do is because she was so brave. She said to me when I called her back, she said, you know what, Sara, I will not abandon my husband. I will not abandon my family the way this president has abandoned us. And I think that's very, very telling. Listen to this. Blinken contends that much of the $85 billion, guys, that we left in weaponry, and let me tell you, this makes my husband I thought he was going to punch a wall when he heard that. He could not believe that we abandoned all of that weaponry to the enemy, that we basically aided and abetted the enemy, that our nation gave people that want to see the end of the West, the end of our civilization, weapons. After 20 years of fighting these extremists, these Islamist extremists who do not care, they're amoral. They would as soon kill you as look at you. You don't believe in what they believe, that's it. You're done. But Blinken contends that $85 billion in weaponry is disabled and doesn't give them any strategic value. That, my friends, is one of the biggest lies. Listen to this.
Our folks worked very hard to disable or dismantle equipment that we still controlled before we left Afghanistan. And what we see now is much of the equipment that was left behind, including in the hands of the Afghan forces that then fell to the Taliban, much of it, based on what I understand from my colleagues at DOD, is inoperable or soon will become inoperable because it has to be maintained. It's not of any great strategic value in terms of threatening us or threatening any of Afghanistan's neighbors, but it does give the Taliban, as we've seen in pictures, all of us, uniforms and guns and some other equipment that is now in their hands.
He is such a liar. And do you notice how he plays games with his words? He manipulates the words, or it'll soon be disabled because they don't know what to do with it. Let me tell you what is happening right now. What is happening right now, those night vision equipment that was left behind, because by the way, a lot of that equipment, we used to own the night. If you would talk to a special operator, special forces guy, when we're in Afghanistan, we owned the night. Why did we own the night? Not only because of the superior technology that we had with drones and everything, but because of the Nox, the things that we wear there. I actually wore them. I went out and it's incredible technology. It's like almost like daylight in complete darkness. You can see everything. You can see the dog barking, the baby crying, the brush, man hiding behind the brush, everything. This is technology that is proprietary to the United States. This isn't technology that you could buy off a shelf. So this type of technology is now in the hands of the Taliban. This technology, and by the way, our weapon systems, as well as our assault rifles, are in the hands of the Taliban, in the hands of Al-Qaeda, in the hands of Islamic State. What do you think they are fighting the resistance with? They're using our weapons, our uniforms, our trucks, our vehicles. So what is Blinken saying? Well, they won't have anybody to repair the trucks in the next 10 years. Maybe then the trucks will fall apart. And also, by the way, think about all of the weapons and technology that's already made its way to Pakistan. It's already crossed the border. We know that. U.S. intelligence operatives, people that are working on the ground, agents that work for our U.S. intelligence services have already reported a plethora of our equipment has made its way across that border into Pakistan, where not only the Pakistanis will re-engineer that stuff, but I mean the Chinese and the Russians. And he talks about threatening the neighbors. No, look, Pakistan was the only nation on earth prior to September 11th to even recognize the Taliban. Did you know that? Probably this administration doesn't want you to know that. There was no government on earth that recognized the Taliban prior to September 11th other than Pakistan. And you want to know why? Because that's Pakistan's tiger. Because the Pakistani ISI, their Inter-Services Intelligence Agency, basically built up these extremist groups to utilize against India. And in their fight for Kashmir, and in their fight for water rights, and in their fight against the Indian government, because that's who they're focused on. Both of these nuclear nations have been pivoted and focused on each other since the establishment of Pakistan in 1947. No doubt. But the thing that they're also not telling you is that these groups, these extremist groups that they have been feeding and massaging and manipulating, they don't always do what the Pakistani government wants, what, they're directed to do. Do you remember when Sirajuddin Haqqani and those groups targeted the Pakistan military academy? I think it might have even been in Lahore. I may be wrong here, but they targeted this private boys military academy, and they killed over 200 students and their teachers. So I want you to think about what's happening here. Not only was Pakistan the only country to even recognize this government, Pakistan wants it back. They really are the winner here for a short period of time with what's happened. And of course, China and Russia are as well, because they have vested interests in Afghanistan. Afghanistan has an enormous amount of wealth in mining. They also have a lot of gas up in the north, and there's a gas pipeline there that's very important. The Russians have had their eyes on that for some time. And so they want to control this area of the world. It's an important part of the world. Geopolitically, it's very important. It borders Iran, it borders China, it borders Pakistan. It's all the stans too, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. All the geographical positioning of Afghanistan is vital. But now the United States government actually just turned over this vital part of the world to the craziest, unbelievably extreme terrorist group that you can ever imagine. These guys can walk around all day and act, with their black turban, like we're going to have a government. They are beyond words. I had to watch a video the other day, and it was so gut-wrenching. But a young woman, apparently a former Afghan pilot, former I say because they killed her, was put in a hole and literally pummeled with stones by men, by Taliban. They just ripped her to shreds, screaming. She was screaming. And they were laughing. They wanted her dead. Why? Because she was a pilot. Because women shouldn't be educated. Because women shouldn't have a voice. But our government, Secretary of State Blinken, he had no problem whatsoever, along with Biden, along with General Milley, had no problem, and Lloyd Austin, just ignoring all common sense and turning over Afghanistan to terrorists. That's what they did. And I can't tell you how much it breaks the heart of all the men and women and our intelligence officers. And by the way, just U.S. aid workers and State Department workers who are good people, and those people that put their lives on the line every single day, that spent the last 20 years trying to do something. Look, I'm not saying we should be there forever, but we shouldn't have left the way we did. That was a joke. My 9-year-old daughter could come up with a better plan than that. So this is Blinken, and I'm just going after him here because this is a great list that Greg put together for me because Greg's awesome. I know you guys are like, who is Greg? One day you'll see him. It's going to be like magic. There'll be Greg. He'll just show up, right, Greg? Yeah, he's just shaking his head. I know he's a mystery, right? A mystery man. Actually, if you listen to 3 Martini, then you'll hear him. So Blinken. This is Blinken's answer to whether or not he gave lists of those Americans, those green card holders, those SIVs, special interest visas, that means our allies in Afghanistan, to the Taliban. Can you even believe this? They gave lists of our allies to the enemy. And this is what he said when they asked, what are you hearing?
Did the State Department give the Taliban a list or multiple lists of Americans and or Afghans that we wanted out?
Those reports and the idea that we would do anything to endanger our citizens or anyone else at a time when we were trying to save their lives is flat out wrong. Let me
like a yes or no, did you give them
let me be very clear, Senator, if I may, please. Thank you. In limited instances where we were seeking to get a bus or a group of people through a checkpoint, we gave a manifest to the people at the checkpoint to demonstrate that those people were expected.
Roughly how many names were on the list you gave?
Doesn't matter because they all...
Dozens, hundreds, thousands. Give us some order of magnitude.
This happened in a handful of situations where to
Dozens?
get through...
So is it your testimony it wasn't hundreds? I want to understand, did you give them thousands of names?
No,
yes
we did not.
Okay, hundreds?
Not going to put a number on it, but it was, again...
Why not? This is a hearing to discover how many names and how many of those individuals you gave the Taliban the name to have been targeted for torture or murder.
Senator, by definition, these were in limited instances with a bus or a group of people to get them through a checkpoint. They got through the checkpoint.
I want to tell you again, the liar, he lied through his teeth. He lied through his teeth at Senator Cruz. And let me tell you why, because a lot of those buses never even got through those checkpoints. Those people were left. I know there were buses sitting out there. They not only had the lists, but some of those buses never made it through. They were sitting out there for 2 or 3 days. That's the truth. You want to know the truth? There are people out there that are going to testify and that are going to turn in testimony showing how this government, the malfeasance of the Biden administration, endangered people's lives and got people killed. Because right now, those lists are in the hands of the Taliban, and the Taliban is going door to door, according to my sources on the ground, door to door, looking for linguists, interpreters, anybody who worked with the U.S., anybody who worked with NATO. And what do you think they're going to do with them? You think they're going to give them a nice bus ride to the Kabul International Airport and put them on a beautiful jet and send them to Europe or the United States? No, they're going to kill them. That is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make an example and set an example of them for the other people. And it doesn't even matter. You could have been a driver for an American. You could have worked. Let me tell you a story. It's a quick one. But there was a man that I knew in Salerno. They used to call it Rocket City in Coast Province. I used to go there all the time. But it was constantly targeted with rockets. And there was always IEDs going off. I know, funnest place on earth, right? So, I was there. I can't even remember. I think I went there 3 or 4 different times. There was a man that worked there. Everybody called him Abdul Number One. Abdul Number One, the reason we called him that was because he wore this little hat. He worked in the kitchen area and the cafeteria area where a lot of Afghans worked on the bases to make money to feed their families. And the guys liked him so much because he's a grumpy old man. He was the sweetest guy, but he was, he was always bringing the food, but he always had this scowl on his face. But it made me work harder to get him to like me. So I worked intensely on this old Afghan man, Abdul, to get him to like me. Finally, it was like my 2nd or 3rd trip. Abdul Number One just was so happy to see me. He was so happy to see me. He had the big smile on his face. He brought me this big bowl of fruit. I'll never forget it. Just a good-hearted human being who wanted to take care of his family. He had children, a wife. He was a villager. He wasn't wealthy. But because he worked on our base, and because some of the soldiers that were on that, at the, I guess it would be the little combat outpost or at Salerno base, would give him money once in a while and give him things. The other people got very jealous, and the Taliban got very upset about this. And so one day, I came back to the United States. I was actually working at the Washington Times. And, the guys knew me there. I was working out in the field quite a bit in Afghanistan. And the people at Salerno knew that I had been friends with Abdul. And, it was horrible. Just one day he was on his little scooter heading back to his home, to his little kalat, and the Taliban blew him up. They had a bomb on his scooter or something. Well, it killed him, killed somebody else that was with him. And that's how his life ended. Just working in the cafeteria. These are the kind of people that we gave lists to. Really? Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, ISIS, they're all there, guys. It's not like this is a real government. Why give them lists at all? Why do we have to cower to these terrorists at all? All we had to do was say, you better stay out of my way. I've got eyes on you. We have intelligence and technology capabilities that you can't even imagine. And by the way, Mullah Bardar, I've got a satellite directed right at your house and a drone. And if you touch one hair on anyone's head, I promise you that drone will visit you. What's going to happen? Wait, the Taliban's going to start World War III with the United States? No, they would have backed down. In fact, they wanted to. They just never thought it would be this easy. I guess Biden made it that easy. Hey guys, born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation carries forward the legacy of courage and heroism. You know how much I love this organization and the great work that they do. This 20th anniversary year, Tunnel to Towers is gifting America's heroes and their families with 200 mortgage-free homes. Isn't that amazing? To honor the fallen, Chairman and CEO Frank Siller walked more than 500 miles through 6 states in 42 days, from the Pentagon to Shanksville to Ground Zero. Towers of Light returned to the Pentagon and Shanksville memorials in remembrance again this year. For the first time in our country, the foundation read out loud the names of all we lost to 9/11 related illness. On Veterans Day, another first. The soldiers we lost in the War on Terror are having their names read aloud. The words "never forget" require action. Do good and take action now. Donate $11 a month at t2t.org. That's T2T.org. All right, I don't want to forget about General Milley. I know we really harped on Blinken because I just can't believe the amount of shenanigans happening in the administration. It's like, it's this crazy administration. And everybody, I will always want to think like, maybe I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I will. But then again, there is no honor among thieves. And I don't think any of them deserve my sympathy at all. I couldn't believe it. I didn't like General Milley anyways, but when I saw the story break about the Bob Woodward book, about the fact that General Milley actually assured the Chinese Communist Party that he wouldn't let Trump launch an attack. I just was like, wait a minute. First of all, what attack? Because President Xi and President Trump seemed to get along pretty well, but he held him accountable. President Trump was always about publicly lifting up the dictator only for his own ego. But behind the scenes, they were grilling. They were grilling China. They were grilling Pakistan. They were grilling North Korea. And that's a strategic way of handling these type of leaders. But you have to imagine that President Trump was so distraught. This is the biggest bunch of lies I have ever heard. But here we have, that General Milley contacts the enemy of the United States to basically report on us, to report on our president, even if our president was discussing China in any way, shape, or form, General Milley had no authority to go and give that information to the Chinese. Not only should he resign, he actually should be court-martialed. He actually should be court-martialed for aiding and abetting the enemy. This is beyond anything I could ever imagine. Now, okay, it's allegations, it's in a book. But Bob Woodward, not everyone agrees, but his stuff, I mean, someone told Bob Woodward this, and I'm thinking it was General Milley. Bob Woodward doesn't just make stuff up. He doesn't just sit at home. He's not a faker. He's not hashtag fake news. He may over-exaggerate. He may have his own thoughts or feelings about things, but I am pretty sure, and it's just an allegation I'm making, that somebody by the name of General Milley was talking to Bob Woodward. He was feeling really important. You know, these guys like to feel, they just can't get enough. They're overly important. They're narcissistic. They like to sit around and they want to have a brandy and shoot the shit with, you know, like Bob Woodward and swish it around. I've seen this. By the way, I saw Bob Woodward at, Reagan International at DCA one time, and I was so excited. I was like sitting there. He didn't even recognize me, but it was all right. I was like, that's Woodward. I was like, hi. He's like, hello. Maybe he did recognize me. I have no idea. He was probably running in the other direction. He didn't want me to, ask him any questions. But anyway, that's a little bit of what I want to talk about. And so let me look at this really quick, because this is kind of important. I like papers, Greg. Thank you for giving me papers. Papers make me feel important. So here we go. Milley secretly called Chinese officials out of fear Trump would attack in his final days. It sounds like a sci-fi novel. During the final months of former President Donald Trump's term, and this is from Fox News, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley made 2 phone calls to Chinese officials in fear that Trump would create conflict with the communist nation. Why would he fear that? Why would he even give a rat's butt about that? Right? What does he owe China? What's going on here? And by the way, why is every news media outlet terrified of actually holding Hunter Biden and, by the way, the president accountable for their relationship with China and for all the millions of dollars that Hunter Biden pocketed and other Biden family members? Well, could you imagine if that would have been Donald Trump Jr. or Eric or Ivanka? My God. That would have been the story that never ended. That would have been the story that never ended. They would have gone after the family like they have for every and any little thing. For everything. And they did. And they have tried to destroy their lives, and they have gone after the American people. And guess what? The way the polls are going right now with President Biden, way below 50%, I'm going to tell you this. The one thing the Democrats have to fear is come 2022, I bet you everything changes. You're going to see a huge shift politically in the United States. And 2024, sayonara. Goodbye, Democrats. Back to China. Okay, guys, the Federal Reserve admits inflation is increasing. So how do you protect your investments with gold? With so many gold companies, how do you know who to trust or that you're even getting the authentic rare coins and precious metals? Well, that's easy. Universal Coin and Bullion. Universal Coin and Bullion is dedicated, guys, to providing clients with outstanding collecting and investment strategies for the rare coin and precious metals market. They specialize in all these really U.S. rare coins, gold, silver, platinum, American Eagles, and more. Universal Coin and Bullion's acquisition and expert buying team has been building premium collections and providing appraisal for clients since 1995. Visit universalcoin.com/Sara, S-A-R-A, or call 1-800-UCB-GOLD to get a no-cost, no-obligation gold info kit to easily protect and enjoy your rare coins and precious metals. Tell them Sara sent you. That's universalcoin.com/Sara, S-A-R-A, or call 1-800-UCB-GOLD. Okay, here it is. I literally am minutes away from heading down the elevator. I'm going to miss you, Greg. That's why I'm coming back once every month or something. I'm flying back. I'm going to get all kinds of points, right? Because I got to come here to Radio America here in beautiful Arlington and see all my friends and, of course, harass, the White House. Maybe I'll just, wave, walk by, ask some Q&A down by the Capitol. But I'm on my way to Texas, and I'm so grateful to God for that. I'm so grateful to my family and to live in such an amazing nation. And even though I'm driving across God only knows how many states, because sometimes I get lost. Yes, sometimes I do. I know, so sad. My husband's the operator, and he could almost go anywhere on planet Earth and never get lost. But he's blind and now has to rely on me driving everywhere. So I will be driving my beautiful family and all of our crazy animals. And by the way, they are crazy. I will be posting this trip on Instagram and on Twitter. And I'll be doing some special blog pieces. I think the fine folks here at Radio America said they'd upload some of them to YouTube. So we're going to make that happen. I promise I'll make it happen. Even if it's my worst day ever and I'm pulling my hair out, because I'm just a regular person. I do a lot. I'm very blessed and I feel very lucky, but really I do a lot of this stuff on my own. And so if we make it to Texas with all the animals alive and our daughter happy and sane and my husband too, then I'm going to feel A-okay. But it's a long trip. It's a long haul. I ask you to pray that we do all right and work with me on that. And I will be coming to you live actually from the road. So it'll be exciting. I brought all my podcast gear with me, and we'll be podcasting from the road. So I'll give you updates on my trip. Very excited about going to Tennessee, to Nashville. Maybe we'll stop by and visit Elvis's old house. Is that there? Oh, that's in Memphis. Gosh. Sorry. Well, the Grand Ole Opry, is that in Nashville? Okay, there you go. I'm going to go see the Grand Ole Opry. I'm going to take pictures there, even if it's only for 5 minutes, and I'm going to get some really good brisket. Wherever I go, I'm just going to get some good barbecue. I may weigh 20 pounds when I get to Texas, more, but we'll see about that. Anyways, thank you so much for being a part of the Sara Carter Show. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. I love this country dearly. I certainly have not given up on our fight. And I believe that the biggest battles are ahead of us, right? We've got to be ready for 2022. And I'm talking about the battle at the election ballot. And one's to save our children, by the way. I want us to be more involved in our communities, more involved with our neighbors. Let's get back to who we used to be, to what we used to be, to being proud of each other, to being friends with one another, and to finding a way to heal. We've all been through a lot over these last 20 years. And I have a feeling we're going to have to protect each other a lot in the future. The direction that this administration has taken us in really frightens me. But I know that we can overcome anything as long as we believe in each other and believe in this great nation that we have been so blessed to be a part of. Thanks again. And remember, you can get all of the links to all my social media and everything else you need at saraacarter.com. That's saraacarter.com. You'll get all the latest stories. And while you're there, sign up for my email. God bless. See you in Texas, or maybe in Tennessee. Frank Ziller, I am so happy to actually meet you. Tunnel to Towers is an organization, a foundation that I am so proud being a sponsor for the Sara Carter Show. So thank you so much. Talk to me about the impact of the foundation and what you've been able to do to date since starting the organization.
Well, never in a million years did we think we'd be doing all the work that we're doing. We just want to make sure that we honored the sacrifice and never forgot what happened on 9/11, not just to Stephen, but all those that perished that day. But you know what? Just 10 years ago, we delivered our first smart home from there, we realized there's such a great need. These great men and women are coming back with these injuries that they would never have survived before on the battlefield. And they need specially adapted smart homes, and they deserve to have a mortgage-free. And that's what we've been doing ever since. So, to date, we've done over 250 of those mortgage-free homes, whether it's for smart home recipients, Gold Star families, or fallen first responder families that leave young kids behind. And this year alone, we're going to deliver 200 of those mortgage-free homes. So we're very proud of that work. And they're not inexpensive, each one of them not inexpensive. So we count on the goodness of America to join us.
T2T.org. That's T2T.org. It's only $11 a month. It's up to every single one of us to do our part to help those that were willing to give everything to protect us and our families.